you talk about how AI is helping in that? Just a general.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that's the theme of today.
Yes.
So I think consultation is a very primitive process in India because this started in, I think, 20 years ago when there was a boom of studying abroad, and a lot of people who were rich and fortunate started studying abroad. And then the middle class was also, it got interested in studying abroad, and the consultation business boomed. So education, as you know, that it's a great industry. It's a highly valued industry in India. I think it values around more than 2-3 billions, and I think it's a lot more when you're talking about education industry as a whole. So what happens is that, as I just told you, that when you go to a consultant, they won't be able to help you if you have a small budget. So there is a bias, and I think AI, what it does best is gets away with the bias. It doesn't see you as a person who has a CGPA of 58% or CGPA of 5.8 or CGPA of 10. It just see you as data. So it sees that, okay, this person has this amount of budget, this person wants to study this, and that this person has CGPA of this. And then the AI just matches you with the university that can help you do that. It doesn't have to see that the consultancy has to make this amount of profit, or they have to have this kind of standards around that. So
Okay.
what we do is that we have a huge database of universities, at the same time scholarships, because as I told you that we have a great emphasis on scholarships. So we connect students with the universities that match with their requirements, whether it be 20 lakhs per year, 2 lakhs per year, doesn't matter. And then that is the way we remove the bias from the system. Obviously, once the university selection process, that is a 3-week process, we do understand that there has to be a mix of ambitious, safe, and moderate universities. Once that is done, then humans come into the process. So we give like AI full control over the process because we believe in it. And this is probably this is the program that we have built over years. So we have this database that is still building, but it will take, I think, a lot more time because European schools are a lot of them. But what we are focusing right now is low budget universities and the best university, that is like the public universities of the world, whether it be Germany or whether it be Italy or Spain or France. We are only looking at public universities because of the high amount of funding that comes from the state, and also the tuition fee that is not as high as private universities. So AI actually gets away with the bias, and it helps students in a lot unbiased way that I think humans are a bit difficult to deal with. Like there is always a kind of a bias that comes when humans are dealing with your applications. At the same time, we also recommended a lot of schools to use AI when they are looking at your applications. So that also removes a very important bias, because when you submit your applications to a business school, let's say, and your adcom, so your admission committee, there is a member who personally relates to you because he loves cricket, and you are a national level cricket player. So there is a bias that will come into play, and you will get selected. At the same time, suppose you are the person who is into football, you're a national level football player, and that person hates football. Like it's a bit difficult for somebody to hate football, but just suppose that happens. So there will be a bias again that he won't be really interested into you just because you are a national level football player. Like how vague is that? But that really happens. Like I don't know how to emphasize that enough, but that happens a lot of times. That bias comes into the play, and two people, when they have to weigh them, the person who relates more with the adcom actually wins the race, and that is unfair. That is unfair when you're preparing for your GRE, GMAT. You put everything into it. They're like a huge amount that you invest into applications, and then this small amount of bias can remove your chances from getting into Harvard or Stanford, whatever is your dream school. So that has to go away with it. And actually, we have succeeded in helping around 10 plus universities like adopt this system of AI. So the first screening has to be done through AI, and then obviously EdCom gets involved. At the same time, they are also given training to be unbiased, and there is a whole thing about diversity and inclusion that probably a lot of people know about it already. So that's the way we include it in our business model. But obviously AI is a huge industry in education, and I think different people are using it in a different way. But I think this is a pioneer. I think what we are doing right now, it's a disrupting the education consulting industry, because nobody has really changed it for so long, and I think it's the time to finally bring changes to the industry as well.